imagine we're all gonna eventually buy a home at some point in our lives, right? Usually, the first piece of advice that's really common to hear is call a realtor. You know, they're the most trustworthy person that knows the best. But it sounds normal, but at the same time, it's kind of incomplete. Mostly because they're mostly leading you to pursue something traditionally. What this means is we're leaving out the literacy before actually understanding and trusting the system. So we're trusting the system without even knowing how it works beforehand, which is why we should question, should purchasing start with a realtor? So as I just said, just call a realtor, or a realtor can guide you, an agent can guide you. Buyers honestly just trust and depend before learning these systems, which is honestly leaving out huge points such as financing terms, fees, or even things that may be unclear and may be overseen. There's actually a case that occurred in 2024, which was a settlement, a dispute that was actually taking place from the National Association of Realtors, which is, in case you don't know, they're in charge of every brokerage in the United States. The dispute ended up in a $418 million settlement. Reason being the settlement even occurred is because the commission systems were, I forget what's the word, they were conspired to be inflated within the commission systems, which led to MLS rules to be changed. And MLS is basically where all public records are, like Zillow and all those things. That's basically the MLS. So this kind of works in today's world, and it's kind of a normal thing. Reason being is because it's such a common belief system in which the realtor path it's considered normal, and other buying options may be considered risky or unknown. But this kind of is where convenience starts to replace thinking. Because the reason it works is because we listen to these things from either our family, or it's because it's simply not taught in school. And overall, just professionals know best, which is kind of the problem. We tend to question less on the authority, in which kind of leads into this blind obedience. Overall, it kind of leads into less awareness about loan structures and the terms that you're getting into. But this is where it kind of leads into why it should be important to learn first rather than relying on something. And some of the traditional routes that are usually taught is basically getting pre-approved for a loan through a bank, find a realtor, and tour homes. Shopping traditionally is really through agent guidance. You have MLS access, and you have a lot of negotiation as well as paperwork help from realtors. But it kind of reaches a limit, because helpful doesn't necessarily mean that it completes your literacy. Because guidance can help, but blind dependency can also enslave you. This kind of gets shown in a case that happened in 2023. Similarly, in the settlement that occurred in 2024, Burnett v. National Association of Realtors, same thing. They got sued. They had a whole dispute about the same topic about commission rates being inflated. This led into $1.8 billion being settled by jury for all damages and costs, in which the NAR was actually legally questioned and found liable for violating antitrust laws and conspiring to inflate commission rates. Which, after having all these many disputes and settlements, it's kind of logical, or would it be even logical, to continue risking the futures of many individuals through having blind dependence. Now, in case you are wondering, what are some of our options? For loans, we have FHA, VA loans. I imagine none of you guys will know about this right now. But you also have seller financing, which, in case you don't know, seller financing is not really a common route, but instead of you using the bank to buy a home, the seller of a property becomes a bank and sells the home through payments. You also have subject to, which is another creative financing option. But I guess the whole key idea is that not every buyer needs the same path. So because situations can vary, but at the same time, because situations can vary, so can the literacy level. So to specify on what literacy exactly it should cover the rates, the terms, the risks, and overall the optimization on what you're getting into. And overall, on one side, I mean, yeah, realtors can protect buyers. They deal with contracts, they have first-time buyers, and they honestly filter out a lot of bad deals. But on the other side, in many cases, this value doesn't actually just mean it should automatically have dependence over you. So when buying a home, you should learn the options first, because home buying literacy needs more than just a realtor system. And honestly, this class is the future of many generations to come, hopefully. We may be parents, we may have families. At some point we may rent, we may purchase a home. But I believe it's way more important to learn these systems before putting our trust into these systems. That is my speech.
Okay, thoughts, comments,